So welcome everyone to the Managing the School to Work Transition presentation on starting and working remotely. My name is Brianna Roman. I'm the coordinator for the advising and programming team. So I provide one-on-one advising to students and alumni, and I also manage the peer career advisors that some of you have met with. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. And this session is a part of our summer colloquium. If you have been joining, thank you for joining. I hope you're enjoying them. And if this is your first one, welcome. Either way, welcome to this. Thanks for joining us. So this particular presentation is a part of the Managing the School to Work transition. So this is the second one. Last week we had one on defining professional success. So that one should be recorded as well. And if it's not on our resources page on Handshake, it's on our YouTube page if you just Google Beyond Barnard YouTube. And then next week we'll have workplace etiquette and effective communication. So if you have any questions about etiquette, those will be answered there. Or, oops, I'm so sorry. And then last one would be advocating for yourself and workplace rights. So I hope you can make those. They're all next week and the week after at 1 o'clock too. So this is our agenda for today. We'll talk first about remote first transition, but first I want to do a poll and just gauge to see where everyone is in their job search or internship search or whatever it is. So I just stopped sharing for a second and I'm going to put out, a poll. Interesting. Lindsay, do you know if you could set up the poll or like click on it? For me, it's not working.
Yep, I can launch it. You want me to launch it right now?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, everyone, some Zoom technical difficulties. Let me see. Does everyone see the poll? You can either like do a thumbs up. Awesome, because I can't see it actually. Okay, let's end it. And Lindsay, I'm sorry if you don't mind sharing the results because I actually can't see it for some reason.
It's shared. So 60% of people, hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm also on the advising programs team. So working remotely is 60%, and then seeking employment is 40%.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, so most of you are already working remote and some of you are seeking. Let me just do this again. So back in February, March, you all transitioned from in-person learning and in-person classes to remote learning. And some of you by now have maybe gotten used to it or some maybe a little stuck still. But now most of you will have to either start an internship or a full-time job remotely at first. And this would probably have a lot of challenges and a lot of positives. So we'll go over those first. So some of the challenges of remote work, and you all can like share that too on yourselves, but sharing a space at home. So some people share space with their family by now. Maybe you're back at home with your family, or maybe you have roommates, but that could be a challenge. of sharing a space because of, a lot of background noise or even low Wi-Fi bandwidth, like a lot of different devices on a Wi-Fi. So that could also be another challenge. From what I've heard, if you did need like a higher Wi-Fi, you could always consult with the company that you work for, or organization, to see if they would be able to, provide a reimbursement. But if there is ever a case where like there's Wi-Fi bandwidth issues because you are sharing a space, you could just communicate that to whoever you're speaking with. And as far as like sharing a space at home, it's just good to communicate with those that you live with or share space with if you have meetings or if you have presentations that you need quiet time for. Another challenge of working remotely would be lack of direction or too much direction, specifically from your supervisor. So either lack of direction where maybe you haven't heard from your supervisors in a few days, or too much where they want you to check in every second of the day, or, there's a little too much, micromanaging. So we'll talk about that too, how to manage up and how to communicate with your supervisors. Um, a few other challenges would be losing motivation and staying productive. So actually, if you read studies online, production is up. So working remotely hasn't changed production in a lot of individuals. So but it could be a challenge to motivate yourself because you are at home and it's more comfortable. And lastly, a challenge could be burnout or Zoom fatigue. So burning out so much because you're working additional hours because you're at home, or Zoom fatigue where you have multiple meetings a day or multiple presentations a day where it's just too much. So those are some challenges. And then there are definitely positives of working from home and working remotely. So if it's okay with your supervisor, depending on how casual the environment is, you could create your own schedule. If you feel like you thrive more with working starting in the afternoon until the night, go for it. But read the room and just make sure that's okay with your supervisor. You also would have more time to take advantage of starting or finishing your own personal projects. And this could mean anything. This could mean maybe you're doing like an art project, or maybe you're starting a blog or a website. So taking away, that's a positive because, you would have more time to do that since you work remote. And this is where I come in with more time because you would have less commute time as well. Which is a big one personally for me, less commute, and you're saving travel on money. Commuting is very expensive, so you have more, it's more of an advantage to telecommute now. You can also enhance your technology skills. I mean, speaking for me and my colleagues, we've basically well, I don't know about me today, but we've basically mastered Zoom and Google Hangouts. So you can learn more technology skills through webcamming. Also, the ERC, the Empirical Reasoning Center, offers tech courses on Excel, so you can like spruce up your Excel skills. Or like if you need like R or Python, you can always reach out to them too. Another positive of working from home is spending more time with your loved ones, even if it is virtually. You have more time now to reach out to people that are close to you. And some people have left where they currently are to even go to their family's home. So, we live in a world now where I think it's, things are starting to open up, but there was a time where we were all in physical or social isolation. So I think now is a great time to just spend more time with family and friends. And lastly, another positive is comfortable clothes, but also, again, just read the room. Like if you see that your coworkers are dressed up, then maybe it's an environment where they dress up a little more, it's more formal. But if you notice it's a more casual environment, go for it. So next, let me just go to the next slide. So you have your first job, virtual job. So what now? Yay, you. So now you have to figure out, what are your goals? What are your expectations? So So first, if it hasn't been done already, it's a good idea to just reach out beforehand to HR and your new manager just to get information about virtual onboarding, meaning is there an orientation? Is there training that you need? But by now, most companies have adapted to remote work, so they may have some systems in place, but others may not be equipped to, or haven't figured out how to adapt to remote work. But it's important to just remain flexible and patient in case maybe they haven't adapted yet. Just remain flexible, patient, reach out ahead of time, ask what it is that you can do to just make it easier, and go from there. So next, also in addition to onboarding, figuring out what your manager's expectations are. So being proactive in the sense of taking initiative and asking about your roles and responsibilities. You may be familiar already with what your role is in the job description, but it might have changed since then because we have a virtual role now. So asking your supervisor, what are your expectations virtually? Asking about new programs that you should know, any files that they should have, that you should have access to, just anything in general that you should be made aware of in order to do your job. As well, going over what goals and what they expect of you, or what they want you to accomplish in the next 30, 60, and 90 days. They may already tell you already, but if not, again, take initiative and ask, what is it that you would like to have me accomplish in the next 30 days, 60 days? And remember, they hired you for a reason. You went through the interview process and you got the job. So give yourself time to adjust, even if you feel like it's frustrating that, this is a virtual position, it's brand new, and think of it as a fresh start. So next, along with working from home, you'll need a home workspace. So a well thought out space provides you with the fuel to be productive. So it's important to try to create a space that you would enjoy working with, or working in rather. Like I said, some of you might work from home at your parents' house or family's house, or if you have roommates, or might not even have the capacity just to create a space. But really all you need is good lighting, a blank background for video calls, quiet. Like I said before, inform people around you if you have video calls. And if you don't have the tools to provide your own workspace or make your own workspace, try to put your work away at the end of the day and find a space that you'll dedicate to work and disassociate from home. So if you find yourself working from home on the couch and you're watching TV and that's how you usually associate with home, then it might not be the most productive, but maybe a kitchen table will work better. If you actually look on like Pinterest, there's a lot of great ideas on how to like build your own workspace from like things you already have at home. So whatever space you choose to work from, just make sure that you disassociate it from your personal life. So that way you can have that mindset that this is work and this is for home. And like I said, you can make it your own by just experimenting with lighting, just like a simple lamp, decor, like if you have like motivational quotes, or even just like color, artwork, pictures, whatever it is that helps you stay motivated and helps you want to actually like work, go for it. It could even be a vision board. And again, if not, there's Zoom backgrounds. I mean, they're super fun and they're great conversation starters in meetings. So Zoom backgrounds are your friends. Use them at your advantage. Next, so how do we stay productive and engaged when you're in this remote role? So think about how you got ready for school each day, or how did you get ready for your internships each day when you were in person? So trying to create a routine for yourself to, get you ready for the day, or just like get your mindset ready that you're heading to work, can mean anything. So think about how you get ready for work each day and try to stick to that every day. So that way you just create a routine for yourself. I know Barnard students like creating Google calendars, so still use those if that's like how you keep your schedule, and stick to your schedule too. It helps you stay more organized and again, just stay on routine. It's also important to take breaks during the day. Like if you have a lunch break, take the lunch break. It's really helpful to just take a break away from the computer, take a walk outside if you can, take a walk around your house, whatever it is. Breaks are really important and provide you with just like clarity. Also, by staying productive, if you might not have a lot to do, if work production is down, take initiative and ask for clarity from either your supervisors or your coworkers and see if they need any help, or take initiative and ask for projects or pitch a project yourself. And with that, think about what you want to learn and what tools you need to achieve your goals. So, is it something that you want to learn within the organization? Is it something that you want to learn for yourself professionally? And think about what it is that you need in order to achieve your goals. So, whether that's professional development courses or just courses online that are offered for free or little to nothing. So, think about what it is that you want to learn, what you want to achieve. And lastly, keep track of your, oh, sorry, I think something cut off, but second to last, keep track of your accomplishments and also celebrate them. Again, it's tough working from home. It could be, some people thrive from it, but keep track of your accomplishments and be proud of yourself for them. And then this is lastly, know when it's time to be off. And we'll talk a little bit more about recognizing burnout as well as, when to stop working. But like I was saying before, like disassociating from work and knowing when it's time to be off, because just because you think you're being productive with like working overtime, it really takes a toll on you. Okay, next, communicating and staying connected. So usually in an in-person setting, your coworkers could stop by your desk, or you can stop by your coworker's desk and ask questions. Your supervisor can come by and ask a quick question. But the reality is that's changed and there's limited human interaction. So that's one thing that's also important in staying productive and engaged and visible, is trying to engage with your supervisors and colleagues. So again, like I was saying before, like take initiative and ask what you can contribute. If you see that there's like an inconsistency, or if you want to like do something new, pitch a project. I mean, I'm sure your supervisors would be more than thrilled that you're giving yourself work, and your coworkers, I'm sure, would definitely appreciate the help. As well, asking for input, like if you're doing like a project and you want someone to go over it, asking for input, like a second set of eyes, could definitely help and help you stay connected. As well, engaging in networking opportunities in the organization. So this could mean you setting up 15-minute conversations within your first week with everyone that works there, and just like getting a sense of what they do, and getting a sense of the company, as well as informal chats. Like I know a lot of companies have like virtual coffee chats or like just offline catch up. So try to engage in those if they're offered, but if not, again, take initiative and see if you can engage in that yourself. And then scheduling one-on-ones with your supervisors and daily check-ins, but also keep in mind to like establish within that first week, like how much communication is expected from you. Your supervisor may want to check in with you daily or weekly, whatever it is, but just establish how much communication is expected, just so it's a clear back and forth. And like I was saying before, like keeping track of your accomplishments, any results, you can keep that in a journal. You can keep that like wherever it is that you feel is necessary, but share those results with your coworkers and your supervisors, just so they are updated on what you're doing. And it's also great news to share. And then lastly, self-care and well-being. So what you want to do when working remote is set boundaries and prioritize yourself. There's so much going on in the world. It's just a great idea to prioritize yourself and your well-being and your self-care. So set boundaries. Think of when you are going to sign off and have a transition ritual from work to home. So this could mean creating a list for the next day, or it could mean setting an alarm for yourself, and that like clicks to you that this is time to sign off. Let me start getting my stuff together and go home. And like I was saying before, just because there's so much work to do, you're really hurting yourself in the end by, putting in the extra effort and working late, because you can burn out. So think of it as, transitioning from work to home, and thinking about yourself and your well-being. And think about, how did you sign off in your previous jobs or internships or after class? Like, what did you do to unwind? Um, and I would say do something you enjoy. It could be reading, watching TV, taking a walk. So think about how you usually signed off and try to mimic the same. Okay. And that's it for me. I'll stop sharing, and if you have any questions, please feel free to chat them in, or you can unmute and we can do that too. Or I could pose a question. Yeah, how would I pose a question? Again, like you can either chat it in or unmute. So what do you think you're looking forward to in your remote jobs, or what are you worried about in your remote work? Thank you. Worried about Wi-Fi? Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Like I said, I would try to ask your company, like, do they reimburse for like enhanced Wi-Fi connection? But also too, like, if just warn them ahead of time, like, hey, my Wi-Fi is not the best, so in case I sign off for any reason, I'll be right back. And I mean, usually people are pretty understanding of it, especially if you live with multiple people and they're all using the Wi-Fi at once. So yeah. Okay, so Stephanie asked, do most remote jobs send you a company computer? I think so. Yes, I know some do send you a computer, like I've been reading online, keeping myself updated. But yeah, if you like don't have, again, like if you don't have the proper like Wi-Fi or proper computer to support what you have to do, then yeah, I know that most remote jobs could send you a computer if you would ask, or if they offered. That's something I've heard of. And I have another question. Sometimes I'm worried about making and sticking to my own schedule. The two jobs I'm working right now give me flexible hours and I can work whenever I want, which is incredibly difficult. Okay. Let's see. The two jobs I'm working right now give me flexible hours and I can work whenever I want, which is incredibly difficult. Yeah, so that's a thing about setting your own schedule, but also like overworking yourself. So I would say maybe like try to prioritize your projects, and know a time for yourself, or set a time for yourself when it's time to be off. And like I said, like taking breaks is super important, and trying to like stick to a schedule too. Um, but don't worry if there's like so much work. again, like try to be flexible and try to make your own schedule and stick to it. And then for those who are who have had internships before or currently are working, how do you usually sign off for the day? Like what do you do in order to get into that mindset from work to home? Okay. Megan said, I'm waiting to hear back from a virtual opportunity I applied for. When should I start applying to more? How do I go about looking for remote opportunities for the fall? Yeah. So if you had an interview with the opportunity or the internship and you're waiting to hear back, if you haven't heard back from a while, I think it's okay to reach back out and just acknowledge, that it's a tough time. Hope you're doing well. And just like ask for an update on the hiring process. I think it's fine to keep applying and just like keeping your options open. And then for opportunities for the fall, it depends on what industries you're looking into. If they're starting to hire now, I'm not sure what it is that you're looking for, but yeah, a few good sites you can use to start looking and just like use keywords like fall internship, remote. I know Indeed has a lot of remote opportunities. Like you can filter it out by remote as well as Glassdoor. Handshake too. Handshake is good because any employer that's looking to hire is going through looking to hire Barnard students is looking through our Handshake. So I would just put your key terms in as remote, fall opportunities, and see what comes up there. But also sometimes companies, okay, education or political related. So yeah, so I think for like political related things, they might be looking now because of the campaigns in the fall or November. So you might get lucky with that. And if you look now, but yeah, filter your searches with those keywords, be specific in what you're looking for. So like maybe using like policy intern or political intern, something like that. And you'll definitely find a lot of remote opportunities, especially now as well, like going on LinkedIn and connecting with alumni that are in these industries and if they have any insight on like the recruiting timelines for that industry. Yeah, you can also schedule a one-on-one meeting if you wanted to talk about job or internship search. Okay, I haven't had an interview yet. It wasn't clarified whether, oh, no, don't worry about it. I was just saying if you wanted to like talk more about it, like we're more than happy to like schedule an appointment. And like help you like look through the sites for opportunities. That's totally fine. You can ask whatever you want. Okay. If I hadn't had an interview yet, wasn't clarified whether an interview will be a part of the process. Is it still appropriate to reach out and ask about the status? So yeah, that's tricky because it's a matter of like, are you reaching out to show like extended interest or like more interest? Um, or just like wanting to know about an interview. I'm not I mean, most of the time, yes, like you would have to be interviewed for a position. So I would, again, like keep applying to things that are similar in your interests and things that you would qualify for. Um, and if they sent you like a automated email that they got your application, then I would just leave it at that. But I would say, again, just like keep applying to other things, and because you'll definitely find something for sure. And also, I don't know if anybody's paying attention to the chat, but there's a sign-in sheet in there. So if you could just fill that out, that would be great. And you're welcome, Megan. Okay, so we have a lot of time. Like, I'm open to questions about remote work, or if you had like a job or internship specific question, or wanted to just like share your remote work experience. What's a reasonable amount of time to hear back? So when applying, it could take anywhere from 6 weeks to 3 months for someone to officially get hired into a position, depending on how motivated the employer is. So yeah, it really depends on the employer's recruiting timeline and what their timeline is. I think especially now it's going to take longer than usual because of everything that's going on. So I would just remain patient if you haven't heard back yet, or if you did have an interview and you haven't heard anything. I think it's okay to follow up in that way. But I would just keep applying, again, like keeping your options open, keep applying to things that are interesting to you. As well, like in addition to applying to things that are posted online, I mentioned just now, but like reaching out to Barnard alumni that are in industries that you're interested in, and asking for advice on who to connect with, asking for advice on the industry, and you never know what opportunities can come about doing that as well. So in addition to posted opportunities, I would definitely recommend networking to be a part of your job search. And Steph, are you looking for full-time work or internships? Okay, nice. Okay. So I'll wait a couple of minutes. Again, if anybody has any questions, we have the time. But if not, thank you all for joining me today. Any questions, you can feel free to email me. I'll put my email in the chat. And don't hesitate to reach out. We're here for you throughout the summer and throughout the fall too, and always beyond Barnard. You're welcome.